I win, Taga.
Because you guys are crazy.
I'm a coffee girl, but I went to Tegal about 5 hours from Jakarta on a train just to drink tea. Why? Because of this story.
One of the reasons that these guys came to Tegal was a story about one of my old clients. We had a meeting until late at night, at 1 a.m. in the morning, and out of frustration, the client, who's a boss of this giant company, said, do you like tea? And, well, yeah, I do enjoy tea. Well, right, let's just go out for tea. We're not going to solve any problem here. So we did. We went down to the lobby. His driver was there, and we just got in the car, and then we started driving. The guy didn't say anything. He said one word to his driver. Right, let's go for tea, he said. And he went straight to sleep in the back of his car, like snoring and everything. So we started driving, and we entered the highway after 7 hours, I guess. And we stopped in front of this small alleyway. So we went into the alleyway, and there's this house, a small house, a very old house, I guess. And we sat on the porch. It's not a restaurant, it's not even a proper tea house or anything. And then she brought out 2 small cups and this old looking teapot.
Wait, about 10 years ago, Ari's boss offered to buy that teapot for 150 million rupiahs, and the owner declined. It's that hard to make that teapot.
And then that's it. We just had tea. And after about an hour or so, probably, it's not even 2 hours, he said to me, right, so we're done? Yeah, we're done. And he paid for the tea. He was like, oh, it's not much, 20,000 or something. And then we drove 8 hours back to Jakarta, which is absurd. And I told this story to these crazy bunch, and they were like, hey, we should give it a try.
Teh poci translates to teapot, but most Indonesians know it as tea served in a clay pot. Tea in these pots has always had a nice taste to it, but apparently Tegal is the place to really understand the culture of drinking teh poci. Ari, who spent his childhood holidays in Tegal to visit family, explained that the teapot is an ordinary clay pot to begin with. Because it's made of clay, tea stains easily stick to the inner surface of the pot, and this was what made the tea flavor so unique and delicious. To maintain that layer, teapots are never cleaned with soap, it's just rinsed with hot water. The older the pot, the thicker the layer, the better the taste, and the more expensive the pot. So of course we had to visit the tea place from Ari's story. It did feel pretty odd walking in an alley for such a gem. The place was called Intisari, which was a small eatery in the middle of a settlement. Unfortunately, they sold their oldest teapot, but they had some good old pots to serve their tea. I came to Tegal just for this, and it's a nice smell. Ooh. Now I get it. The sepat. What is sepat? What is the English?
Bitterness.
The bitterness. I get the bitterness that Ari told me before. So good.
It's unique. It's the kind of tea that you wouldn't find anywhere else. You really have to come here for. Even the smell of the tea is different because they use old teapots, usually about at least a year old, but they use it every day. So something, there's this kind of gooey substance that started forming inside the teapot, and that kind of shapes the flavor of the tea very much. A lot have tried to reproduce this kind of flavor outside of the city, but I've never come across something that even came close to the original flavor. So, yeah. And it was good, right? It's worth the fight.
Yeah,
Right?
I I agree. In addition to that, we had lamb satay. The satay didn't have that particular lamb aroma that people dislike. The meat had a slight smoky taste and melted in my mouth. According to a local driver, a visit to Tegal isn't complete without eating the local lamb satay. Was it worth 5 hours on the train? Was this worth 5 hours on the trip? Second day back was meant to be, right? So while I'm here, why not? One thing I have to mention, what's so great about this place is, first, it's in a home, so it's quite homey. Second of all, it's in the middle of a neighborhood, so there's not much traffic. Traffic's like, what, 100 meters out? And then third, the satay. Satay is so good. And basically the sound, the ambience is... And there were children running around, playing hide and seek. So it's the whole experience, not only just the taste. I'm going to be back here soon. Another favorite spot for Ari was Warma Pian. Established by the second generation of owners in 1926, it provides teh poci and a whole range of delicious good food. Fortunately for me, they haven't sold their oldest teapot, which dates back to the first generation. So allegedly, this authentic Chinese teapot is about 100 years old. Babudi, who was the third generation in line, refuses to sell the pot at any price, also for the sentimental value. By preference, I like the taste of the tea in Warma Pian, especially from this old pot. It had that smooth taste and I just couldn't get enough. And so, what is that? So I want to try the tea. I don't really drink much tea, but this tea is really smooth compared to what I've tried before. And this aftertaste is really suitable for a nap. You know when you drink something, it feels so nice. I'm ready for my nap now. Drinking tea in Tegal is a culture on its own. Because it's the tea stain that processes the flavor of the tea, once served on your table, the teapot has to sit for a good 10 to 15 minutes before you pour it into your cup. In that time, this is where people get to talk or just do other things like playing on their phone. For sweetness, a chunk of rock sugar is added but not stirred to give that nice smooth sweet taste in the end, kinda like dessert. Because drinking tea is a slow process between friends, families and colleagues, acculturation is something that is very common in the city. There has been little cases of riots on race and religion issues in Tegal. In fact, the blend is so perfect. There is no distinct culture that stands out in Tegal, especially of that of its ancestors of Arab, Chinese, and local Javanese. Ironically, Babudi says there are no tea plantations near Tegal. Tea are brought into many tea factories in the city. Seems like Tegal people are true tea brewers, including that of his own brand. Warma Pian has its own tea mix, which consists of 4 different tea, and the recipe is held secret. And it is especially sold only in Pian eatery. So if you want something specific, something nice to bring back home, you know what to get and where to find it. For me, I think, I don't know, maybe it's the whole culture thing or just, you know, preference. I like small places. I like old rustic places, and you know, I do like the taste of the tea. I would definitely go back for a 5-hour train ride to Tegal just to drink tea, and I know for sure Ari would too. And I do recommend it for you. So if you enjoy tea and you want to try, like you're a real strong coffee drinker and you think, nah, tea can't do anything for me, maybe you should try going to Tegal. You might be surprised.